Oh, okay. So, on our last lesson, we calculated the general term of a certain sequence. So, we're going to continue on this sequence. So, remember, we talked about the sequence 6, 18, 54, and the last time it's 118098. So, now we have the general term, and the general term we calculated it to be 6 times 3 to the power n minus 1. And the next question says, how many terms are there in the sequence? So when you see this type of a question, the first thing that you need to do to make everything looks, okay, let's make everything easy, okay? So what I need you to do is to take your general term. Do not take this one because this one will need you to do a lot of work. This one, don't use that one, but I recommend that we use the simplified one, this one. So 2 times 3 to the power n. So take that, start by saying your Tn is equals to 3, 2 times 3 to the power n minus, oh, it was just to the power n. Okay, so now when they say how many terms are there in the sequence, your Tn will be whatever the last term you have, and our last term is 118098. This is your Tn. Where there's Tn, this is what you should substitute. Then now we're going to write this as 118098. Equate this number to 2 times 3 to the power n. So now can you see that we need to solve for n, and this is exponential equations. That's why we are saying that is very important for you to master algebra. So the first thing, what we are trying to do here is to isolate. We are trying to isolate the value of n. So the best thing to do is to divide this side by 2, divide this side by 2, so that this 2 can cancel with that. Therefore, what do we have there? We are left with 3 to the power n. It's equals to, so if you take 118098, then you half it, you should get 59049. So now, when you have something like this, I'm going to give you a tip. Let's say that you are trying to solve for a variable, and let's say you have a number, any number. How can we represent a number? Let's say that you have a number, and that number is to the power variable, which is n. It can be x, it can be y. So if you have a number to the power variable, it's equals to a number. What I need you to do is to write this number as the prime of its factor, or just write it as an exponent. I think it's best if we say write it as an exponent, that number. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to take the 59049 and write it as an exponent. How can we do that? We need to say 59049 on your calculator, press equal sign, then say shift fact. It will give you 3 to the power 10. So now this will be equal to 3 to the power n. So the base are the same. If the base are the same, what do we do to the exponents? We equate the exponent. So what will n be? N will be equals to 10. So now this tells us that this sequence has the number of terms are 10 in this sequence. So someone can prefer to use the logs. It's fine, you can use the logs, but I'm going to only focus on the easy steps, which is the logs. But most of the time, I know for you IEB learners, most of the time you'll be focusing on logs. So now, let's say you want to use the log. You can use the log. Okay? If you want to use the log, it's fine. You can use the logs. But now when you use the log, you should say 59049, it's equals to 3 to the power n. So the logs works like this. Let's discuss the conversion of logs. So most of the time, the logs, let's say I have x, it's equals to a to the power y. So now we already remember when we do the inverse function, we interchange x and y. So when it is in this step, when you are about to apply the log, it is already in the form of like when you interchange x and y. That's why I'm saying this is my x, this is my y, and the aim when we do the logs is to make y subject of the formula. So what you're going to do, you take the y, which is your exponent, you say y is equals to the log. Can you see that a is the base, y is the exponent? So if a is the base, it's going to come here. Then whatever number you have this side, you're going to put it here. That's how you convert the logs. I think this is the best way to explain it. So what I'm trying to say is that let's assume that we need to change this guy here. Let's assume that we need to change this and write it as logs. So we're going to say n is the one that should be subject of the formula. Then this will be the log. What is your base? Is the 3. Then whatever number you have this side, it should come here and say this is 59049. So when you put that on the calculator, you should find n to be equals to 10. So I know this most of the time it works for the IEB learners. Let me explain why. Because you guys will be solving for logs. So I know that you'll get used to this method because in your algebra, you'll be solving for logs. But for CAP students, this is the method that I prefer, I recommend, okay? Right. And that's it for this lesson. I just wanted us to work on this, how many terms there are in the sequence. So there are 9 terms. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like the video, please do share it with your friends, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button.